God didn't create you to live in lack. He created you to live in abundance, spiritually, emotionally, and even materially. Today, we're diving deep into what it means to live in God's overflow. Are you ready to experience the fullness of His blessings in every area of your life? Let me ask you, what comes to mind when you hear the word abundance? For some, it means wealth or success. For others, it means joy, peace, or purpose. But here's the truth. Abundance isn't just one thing. It's God's plan for your entire life. Jesus himself said in John 10:10, I have come that they might have life and have it to the full. Fullness isn't just someday in heaven, it's for here and now. So why do so many people live in scarcity, financially, emotionally, or spiritually? The answer lies in understanding the principles of faith and abundance. Let's explore how to unlock God's overflow. Hey there, Kingdom Genius family. Coach Cal here, your genius coach. And I'm excited to welcome you to another KG Framework video. Here we dive deep into empowering principles that help you frame and shape your world by aligning your beliefs, thoughts, and words with the life you are destined to live. This alignment is the key to unleashing your best self right here, right now. Get ready to unlock your full potential and step boldly into your purpose and true identity. Here we go. This is a transformational journey where faith meets abundance, and we tap into the limitless grace of God to experience true overflow in every aspect of life. Today, we introduce the KG Framework for Overflow, a step-by-step tool designed to help you shift your identity from today to tomorrow. This framework invites you to work on your inner world so that it transforms your outer world, allowing God's abundant design to shine through your life. When Adam lived in Eden, he lived in abundance, not just in material blessings, but in a deep, unbroken fellowship with God. Eden represents the fullness of God's provision, a place where lack did not exist and where fruitfulness was the natural state of life. God's desire is for us to live in that same abundance today, being fruitful and thriving in the overflow He has provided. This is not just a material promise, but a spiritual principle. When our inner world aligns with His truth, our outer world reflects His glory. Overflow is more than just a concept. It's a revelation on how aligning your beliefs, your thoughts, and words with God's promises leads to divine abundance. Each part of this framework is intricately connected to your identity and destiny in Christ. When we look at creation, we see evidence of His opulence in the beauty of the earth and His vastness in the universe that stretches beyond what the eye can see. Opulence and vastness are not only evident in the world around us, but are also reflections of who we are as individuals made in God's image. God has built us with His image, His nature, and genius, endowing us with the capacity to experience and share abundance. To understand abundance, we first need to understand God's nature. Everything about God is abundant. He's not a God of barely enough. He's a God of more than enough. Look at creation, the stars in the sky, the waves of the ocean, the diversity of life on earth. Psalms 24:1 reminds us, the earth is the Lord's and everything in it. God's abundance is evident in everything he creates. And here's the amazing part. You're part of his creation, made in his image. That means abundance is your inheritance. But abundance isn't just about material things. It's about the overflow of God's love, his grace, and provision in every area of your life. Let's get back to the overflow framework with the next two building blocks: empowerment and replenish. They speak to the actions and processes that allow us to unlock our full potential. Empowerment comes when we walk by faith, leaning on God's strength and not our own. It's through faith-driven action that we step into our divine assignments and access the resources heaven has for us. Replenish reminds us of the importance of renewal, spiritually, emotionally, and physically. God's design is not one of scarcity, but of abundance, where every step forward comes with a fresh supply of his grace. If abundance is God's nature, then faith is the key that unlocks it. Hebrews 11:1 defines faith as confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see. Here's the challenge. Many of us believe in God's ability, but we struggle to trust his timing or his methods. We say, God, I trust you, but we hold on to fear, doubt, and control. Highlighting the results of living in God's overflow, the next two building blocks are flourish and fruitfulness. Flourishing means thriving in your purpose, growing in wisdom, and expanding your reach to bless others. Fruitfulness is the evidence of God's work in your life, producing love, joy, peace, and success that positively impact those around you. When we flourish, we reflect the life of Christ in us. When we bear fruit, we fulfill his command to multiply blessings in the lives of others. These are the marks of living in God's abundant nature. Faith requires action. Remember, Peter walking on water? As long as his focus was on Jesus, he experienced the miraculous. But the moment he focused on the storm, he began to sink. Faith says, I trust God's promises. I take bold steps even when I don't see the full picture. I give knowing he will provide. The next two building blocks, leverage and outgrowth. They emphasize your ability to move from a place of limitation to one of limitless possibility. Leverage is about utilizing the gifts, resources, and opportunities God has given you to advance his kingdom. It requires shifting your beliefs, your thoughts, and your words to align with God's truth. Outgrowth speaks to the expansion that happens when you live by the principles of the overflow framework. It's the natural result of walking in alignment with God's purpose for your life. Faith isn't just about believing for abundance. It's about aligning your actions with that belief. When you do, you step into God's overflow. Finally, we come to wealth, the culmination of living in God's overflow. True wealth is not merely material, but includes spiritual, emotional, and relational riches that reflects God's goodness. When we live in the fullness of who God has called us to be, we embody his abundance and become channels of his blessing to others. This is how we shift our identity now, because there's new opportunities waiting. and step into the overflow God has prepared for us. Embrace this journey of faith and abundance and watch as your inner world transforms your outer world to reflect His glory. As we conclude, remember that abundance is not about striving, but about aligning with God's promises, His provision, and His purpose for your life. When you live in God's overflow, you walk in the fullness of His grace, reflecting Eden's original design and impacting the world with His love. Now that we understand faith and abundance, let's talk about how to live in God's overflow. Here are 3 principles to guide you. Trusting God's provision. Philippians 4:19 says, "And my God will meet all your needs according to the riches of His glory in Christ Jesus." This means letting go of worry and trusting that God is faithful. Practice gratitude. It is a magnet for abundance. When you thank God for what you have, you position yourself to receive more. 1 Thessalonians 5:18 reminds us, give thanks in all circumstances. Be a channel of blessing. God's abundance isn't meant to stop with you. It's meant to flow through you. Proverbs 11:25 says, a generous person will prosper. Whoever refreshes others will be refreshed. When you give freely from your time, your talents, and resources, you will experience the joy of being part of God's work. Living in God's overflow isn't about hoarding blessings. It's about using them to glorify Him and bless others. Before we close, let's address the barriers that block us from experiencing God's abundance. Scarcity mindset. That's believing that there's not enough for everyone. That limits your faith. Remember, God's resources are infinite. Overcome it by declaring scriptures of abundance daily. The fear of giving. Fear tells you to hold tight, but faith says to release. When you give, you're sowing seeds for the future harvest. Unforgiveness and bitterness. These weigh down your spirit and block blessings. Forgive freely as Christ forgave you, and watch how freedom leads to abundance. A closed hand doesn't get you anything, but an open hand, that'll get you the blessing. When you address these barriers, you open the floodgates for God's blessings to flow freely in your life. God's abundance is waiting for you. It's not about earning it, it's about receiving it by faith and stewarding it as well. My challenge for you today is this: take one step toward living in God's overflow. Whether it's trusting Him with your finances, expressing gratitude, or giving generously, step out in faith and watch how He exceeds your expectations. Let me leave you with this. Ephesians 3:20. Now unto Him who is able to do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine, according to His power that is at work within us. The God of abundance is ready to pour His blessings into your life. Will you open your heart to receive it? That's my question to you today. Remember, when you seek the genesis of genius, you will discover your hidden genius. If you're ready to dive even deeper into the KG frameworks, we've got the I Am Kingdom Genius Community and Genius Vault waiting for you. Together, we're growing, aligning, and transforming lives one principle at a time. For now, I'll leave you with these definitions to reflect on from the KG framework we just explored. And don't forget to tune in next time as we uncover more empowering principles to help you frame your worlds. Until then, Keep shining, Kingdom Genius.